So we keep hearing about the Clarity Act, and well, we just missed the July 4th signing target that everyone was hyping up for months on end leading into July. We kind of knew that this wasn't going to happen closer to like roughly the middle of June when the deadline really started to get close. But regardless of that, we now face a harder deadline of August 7th, the last day before the Senate's summer recess. And I want to talk about this. We also got clear confirmation that basically what I stated the other day is true, where we have another major bottleneck here for the Clarity Act. And this is going to be a issue for sure. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So yeah, we are waiting on clarity. It's obviously a major unlock for the market. I think that's going to be a game changer for, just adoption and growth of crypto, not just even in the US, but I think that we're going to start to see a lot of nations trying to catch up, stay ahead, and probably start to really kind of learn a lesson from what the US is doing. Now, already I will say that the US is starting to kind of fall behind though, because of this process with the Clarity Act. And I stated it many times in like previous videos, that we really need to get the ball rolling here. It's not even on Trump. Like I see a lot of people saying like, oh, like, Trump's the issue. Like it's really not Trump's fault at all. He already stated that he will sign, the Clarity Act as soon as possible. And he's been pressuring the Senate to really kind of get this done. The issue is of course, politics, right? Yeah, both sides of the table, going back and forth on all of these issues with, the Clarity Act. And now they're bringing up all of this other nonsense, which we'll talk about. So again, like we are running out of time to get this done. But if we look at the odds now, well, retail believes that there's only a 46% chance that we get the Clarity Act signed into law this year. And, again, like I'm 50-50 still. I'm not below 50% yet, but, I definitely will say like my patience is starting to kind of, I don't want to say like I don't have patience with this, but, we've been waiting for so long. Like at this point, it's either we get it or we don't. Like, I just want a clear answer on that because, we've been waiting for this to actually get signed into law forever, and it should have been signed into law back in 2025, realistically speaking. So I would say that my hopes on getting clarity done this year, it's starting to drop. But I will say this. I do think that there's still a good possibility that we do get clarity done, only because we cannot risk falling behind, but we are getting closer to the midterms timeframe. And that's the only thing that's getting me a little bit concerned. But I did say over here, because we did hear from President Trump, he stated that the US is taking over crypto. It's a huge industry. And I said, without clarity, we definitely aren't. Because again, we simply aren't. Like, this isn't a game of like, oh, Trump said this, so we have to disagree. Like, no, I could, care less about, political parties or anything like that. Like, whoever you support, it doesn't matter. The main thing is like, you can't argue against the fact that like crypto is a completely different environment from when Trump did get into office. If we go back to like 2024 or even 2023 or prior, like crypto was a hostile market from regulators. Like regulators were openly attacking this. We now have a pro crypto SEC, CFTC, and this admin has been very, very open to crypto. So that's one thing that I definitely respect and I actually really appreciate. But the biggest issue that we do have is like the open promises around clarity. And it's not even on Trump. Like we have a lot of these politicians that are saying like, oh, we're definitely going to get clarity done. We're getting clarity done. We're working so hard to get clarity done. But I just haven't seen anything in terms of like urgency from the Senate that's telling us like, oh yeah, this is happening. But again, like if we think about like the US taking over crypto, like Ripple just got full on approval in the EU. And although, yes, ROUSD is still available in the US, a lot of these areas already have their regulatory framework in place. Like the EU already has MiCA, Japan already has a regulatory framework in place, the UAE already has one in place, the UK is working on one. Like we're starting to see a lot of these nations really pushing forward. And it's at a time where, I feel like they see the opportunity. They're like, you know what? Well, the U.S. is falling greatly behind because, they can't get their act together. So now is the best time to really kind of try to get ahead. And that's exactly what we're starting to see. Now, the EU was like one of the first ones to actually get that framework in place. I believe it was like back in 2024 when they brought in Mika, which, it doesn't seem, like a crazy time ago, but, we're 2 years out. So, Mika was definitely very early on crypto. But now the US has an opportunity to really kind of lead if we can get clarity done. Which takes me over here to this video clip, because this is the full video clip where he does also say this, but we have the quote that if we didn't do it, China would do it. What is he even talking about? I said, China has had a digital yuan for years and has been collaborating with multiple crypto companies for years too. What we really need to do is pass the Clarity Act as soon as possible. Now, again, what Trump is stating here is like crypto is the same thing. If we didn't do it, China would do it. It's a massive industry. When I went very much for it, I think I got 100% of the vote. I think it was 100 million people. That's a big industry. Now, I feel like what he's really talking about here is just supporting the crypto industry. And, although that's great, we still need to get clarity done. And it's not on him. It's on Senate. I will say that. But I do think that the talking of how great the US is going to be with crypto, it's awesome to hear, but we want to see something happen here. Genius got done, which is awesome, but the last major hurdle here is getting clarity. And I would argue that clarity is 10 times more important than the Genius Act. But check this video clip out, guys.
Crypto's the same thing. If we didn't do it, China would do it. It's a massive industry. And frankly, when I went very pro-crypto, as you know, Biden was totally against it, but he has no idea what crypto is. He had no idea. He didn't have a clue, but they were very violently against it. They were putting people in jail. What they were doing to the crypto was horrible. It's amazing it survived that onslaught. It was a weaponization of government. So when I went very much for it, and I must have gotten, I think I got 100% of the vote, but what happened is, I think it was 100 million people. That's a big industry, and that means some pretty good things. But what happened is Biden then, after he was getting killed, he was down so much, all of a sudden they became pro-crypto. And their head of the SEC was horrible, unlike Paul, who's really good. No, I mean, he's the best man for the job. Everybody wanted him. Crypto's...
So yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, if we really think about what he's talking about here, I don't necessarily think that he's talking about the US has fully embraced crypto, we're integrating it tomorrow. No, I think that what we're seeing here is that, from Trump's side, he's like, we already have a pro crypto SEC. We changed the whole game up because, again, if you really look at the Biden era for crypto, yeah, it was a very hostile environment. I don't think that under anyone else we would have got the SEC, dropping the case against Ripple, dropping the cases that they did. Is there a lot of questionable things from Trump? 100%. 100%. I don't respect the idea of the Trump coin or the Melania coin and things like that. But I mean, realistically speaking, can everyone say oh, well, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have done that? You probably would have. If you saw the opportunity, if you had a lot of people whispering in your ear, hey, you can make $1 billion off this, you would 100% do it too. But the main thing that I'm really looking at here is, are we going to get this done? Because the main thing from Trump, and it goes back to the whole meme coin craze. We got a big update, and again, this is where I start to really kind of lose a little bit of faith in getting clarity done. From Eleanor Tourette, we have new. Following the release of President Trump's financial disclosures, which showed that he made more than $600 million in income from the Trump meme coin in 2025, Senator Gillibrand has renewed her call for ethics reforms that would prohibit the president, members of Congress, and their spouses from issuing or sponsoring digital assets. The announcement also comes amid increased scrutiny over Senator Gillibrand's longstanding calls for stronger ethics rules following reports that her son has raised funding to launch a perpetual futures exchange. The platform will not, however, involve crypto or blockchain technology, according to reports, though it is backed by at least one crypto billionaire, Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen. Big surprise there. But yeah, when we look at this, the First Lady also issued her own meme coin and separately reported $6 million in income from NFTs and other digital collectibles. Again, the Trump family has been making an absolute killing off of crypto. But it's all known. It doesn't take a genius to look at the fact that Trump basically rug pulled. I'm not saying Trump himself rug pulled. I'm saying the meme coin did. But again, technically the team behind it I mean, all the profits went back to the Trump family anyways. So if we're really looking at this, like, yeah, I think that this is a good call. I think that the ethics side of things is definitely a good call. However, I think that the problem with this is that there's going to be an ongoing back and forth battle with ethics. How long could that last? I have no idea. Again, with politics, you guys already know they like to drag things on. But I stated this the other day on July 2nd. I said, want to make a bet that this becomes a big obstacle to clarity. This got posted on July 3rd. Guys, like, we are now seeing a big issue here with clarity because of the ethics problem. Even over here, we do have from Investment D update: 2 Democrats who backed the Clarity Act now refuse to vote for it after Trump's crypto disclosure. The White House's July 4th signing target is officially gone. Democrats are reacting sharply after Trump's disclosure showed more than $1 billion in crypto-related income, including $600 million from his Trump meme coin. Ruben Gallego and also Angela Brooks, the only 2 Democrats who helped advance the bill in committee, now say their support depends on a strong ethics agreement before any Senate floor vote. That means that ethics negotiations have become the number one issue. The bill still needs 60 Senate votes, and Democratic support is now far from guaranteed. If negotiators reach a deal, the Clarity Act could hit the Senate floor as early as the week of July 20th. And yeah, it definitely can, but the question is, will it? And nobody has the answer, for that. But the main thing that we look at is Clarity Act faces Senate hurdles before August recess. So, HR 3633 aims to set the first full U.S. rules for cryptocurrencies, splitting oversight between the CFTC for digital commodities like Bitcoin and the SEC for security like tokens. It passed the House in July of this year, or of July 2025, by 294 to 134, and advanced in the Senate Banking Committee in May of 2026. Again, like almost a whole year later. It passed the House, but a whole year later it took for us to actually advance into the Senate Banking Committee. Crazy. But needs 60 votes to clear a filibuster. President Trump pushes for quick passage to beat rivals like China, though Democrats seek ethics changes and banks raise custody concerns, with a possible vote after the Senate returns July 13th. So yeah, everything's on pause until July 13th. Then we have 7 days. And I think, if we're really looking at this, it's not even actually 7 days. I think it's like 6 days to actually get it done within that time window for the 20th. But it's crazy to me that we're running this close to like a sharp deadline like this. But again, it's politics. It's to be expected, I suppose. But I just think that it's kind of crazy that we have yet to actually get this fully done. And it took a whole year to actually advance it. But now we have a big issue with the ethics concern. And regardless of like if we think that this is going to be a political battle, like, oh, Trump's making money, so we have to attack it, I do think that there is definitely some problems with like the meme coin launches. I mean, it's ridiculous. I talked about it in prior videos as well. But for the most part, I just hate that it's now being utilized as an example to really kind of hold things up and delay and delay and delay. But maybe that's by design. Like maybe that's exactly what they wanted anyways. And now they have the perfect excuse to really kind of delay it while the big institutional players really kind of build out their infrastructure stack. And I don't think that they're going to circumvent like what we already have in the space with like XRP and stuff. I've talked about that as well, like where you have centralized entities and decentralized entities. Like typically citizens, you, me, and everyone else will choose decentralized products over like tapping into like what a bank is going to provide, because again, like the opportunities in DeFi and stuff are far greater than what any bank could offer. So ultimately, main thing about Clarity is like, is it dead in the water? Not exactly, but I definitely think that it's going to run into some issues if we really kind of run beyond our deadline here for getting this done by the end of the month and getting it signed into office by roughly like the end of August. If we don't do that, then yeah, it's definitely going to drop in terms of like the odds from where we are already at, which I think, yeah, it was like 46%. I'm like 50-50 still, but if we don't get this done by like the end of August, I'm probably dropping my 50-50 down to like maybe like a 15. I know like a 15% chance of it passing is definitely rough, but I would say that I would be about roughly 15% on getting it done in 2026 if we fail to get it done by the end of August. because of midterms, right? It's just the midterms are like the main thing. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe, notifications on because more free content. You guys are more likely to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.